All right, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Here we are again, just shilling for an incredible episode, and we have another amazing guest and Gabriela today. I'm so excited to introduce you all to her and to learn about her amazing journey to being where she is right now today. I'd like to say hello to some folks that are trickling into the audience. We have Juan, Andrea, Zachary, Saif, Kino, sorry if I mispronounced your name. I see some people trickling in here. I thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us in this insightful conversation. Tariq, welcome. Thank you all for coming in. So, what we're going to do, Matthias, hello. What we're going to do today, folks, is just go over some quick ground rules. This is a safe space. There's no such thing as a stupid question. We do want to make sure that this is welcoming for everyone here to be able to take in this incredible knowledge that we are sharing with you all today. One of the things that we do not do ever is share anything that is directly related to financial advice, and the opinions of myself and the guests are of our own and do not necessarily represent our respective organizations. And if it's anything that's going to be probably a little bit too controversial for a family dinner, we want to avoid that here. But overall, everything else is welcome for the conversation. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to Gabriela. How are you doing today, Gabriela?
Hello, Trevor. I'm doing really great. Thank you for having me.
Ah, that's wonderful. Thank you for joining. So let's just get into it. Let's give, I would say, like a 30-second, 1 minute elevator pitch about who you are and the organization that you represent and your current title.
Okay, perfect. So a little bit about me. I'm Gabriela, but feel free to call me Gabi. I lead the business development at IntellectEU. I've been with the company for almost 6 months now. We are a tech company with over 17 years of experience, and we focus on digital finance and emerging tech. So one of the products I work on is Catalyst Blockchain Manager, that is basically designed to make blockchain integration and management so much easier for businesses. So basically, helping enterprises to deploy the scale great blockchain application in a more efficient and reliable way. So yeah, it's been a pretty short but super exciting journey so far.
That's great. I love that. I love that. Well, let's transition and go back in time and talk to me a little bit about what were some of the underlying, principles or beliefs that helped guide you to the career journey across the various industries that you've worked in.
I think that one of the principles that has really shaped my career, I think it's the belief of being proactive and constantly learning and chasing for what I want. So across all industries I've worked in, I've always made it to a point to be really hands-on and take initiative and being like in the tech side, translation, legal, product, all hands, because when I was working in my previous jobs, for example, people from I was working in an Irish company, so imagine the tech people didn't know how to communicate with the Latin people, the Caribbean people. So I was the middleman translating all those technical sites
Nice.
and terms. So at the end, yeah, and also the legal part to move forward the things. It was like, okay, Gabby, you have to read, for example, the first part or the first draft of the contract, or so to make the things faster. So yeah, I've been holds all hands in a lot of areas, and being adaptable and open to new experiences as well. And yeah, and I think also the part of networking, I love networking, and
Hmm.
like a lot of people know that, and all my friends know that I love networking and connecting people. So yeah, and I think that lastly, um, being authentically yourself, I think
Yes.
that that's really huge. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really huge. And you've been able to make a transition into this new industry like all of us here. And maybe I would say, what advice would you give to young professionals or anyone that is aspiring to join this new industry? Because this is something that's, not
Yeah.
necessarily new to you, but it's newer. So, what were some of the
Yeah.
things that you learned and what's some advice that you could give to others?
Yeah, as you said, and as I mentioned you before, joined recently to the blockchain industry, and I've learned that everyone is still figuring out and figuring like things out. So you don't need to know everything from the start. So my advice is to be open, to learn, and don't be intimidated by the complexity. And no one has all the answers yet. So when I started, I was literally Googling many courses, basic blockchain, reading those books of blockchain for dummies. And for example, in ChatGPT, like, can you explain these for, for I don't know, for a university or a 10-year-old,
Yeah.
So, so believe me, I'm learning every day. And also the people that I work with, it's really, really capable and really, intelligent, and they know a lot. So for example, my managers and also my colleagues, I mentioned them last time, like we were in an event, and I'm like, I wish that I could have an USB and put that knowledge into my brain, because it's amazing. We're in conversation with potential customers or partners, and just the fact of hearing them, it's really, I don't know, and interesting, and also, yeah, surround yourself with people who are passionate about blockchain, ask questions, and really stay engaged. So I think the industry, as you know, moves so fast, and being adaptable and curious will make it like a real impact. And yeah, I think that also reaching out, connecting with people, ask questions. Like, even though if you think that they're very basic, everyone, as you know, started somewhere, and building relationship is key to learn and growing. And also, I think maybe there are people that that could mentor you and could help you to grow. Yeah, I think that there are like really invaluable opportunities that you can take advantage of. And also, yeah, reading a lot, because I've seen that there's a lot of papers of, I don't know, DTCC, Euroclears. There are a lot of papers that at the end you have to read, because if not, you are in events or yeah, in conversations, and yeah, it happened to me, that at the beginning there were like conversations that I was like, okay, I don't know, but yeah, you know
It's
but
really
yeah.
important to do that. And, in terms of, I would say, I have always felt that this industry is very welcoming to newcomers. Do
Hmm.
you feel the same when it comes to, you mentioned about mentorship and learning from colleagues and people being very open and able to share the knowledge? Do you feel like this is something that is unique to this industry versus some of the others that you've worked in?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think that obviously people here are really open, but it doesn't mean that in the other ones are not. But because in my previous companies, there were like mentoring programs, for example, or for
Ah,
example, yeah, people that were in another areas in which you could reach out to them to learn more. Or for example, even though like I come from the telco or the payments, or for example international top-ups, and yeah, people there, it's always welcoming, helping you a lot. And I think that people know like the situation in which you are, and they're really willing to help you to drive and to understand the industry, so
that's
yeah, I
good.
think that,
That's really
yeah.
good. I mean, I haven't had the fortune to work in all the industries where it's been so welcoming. So I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
that you've had that experience. And this kind of shifts us to our next question. I'm really curious about this as well too. What was a potentially like a pivotal moment in your career that really even started to spark your passion for fintech, payments, and blockchain? Or has this been something that's always been of interest to you?
Well, I think that the moment that really like sparked my passion for the technology was when I joined my first tech company in 2015. Yeah, I think, yeah. I started working for an Irish company called Ding. That's one of the largest mobile international top-up providers. I think that all my friends know who Ding is because I
Mm,
love so much Ding. So, and yeah, the technology behind it fascinated me. I was working closely with the integrations team, so especially for the Latam and the Caribbean region, that I was integrating, like helping in the integration with the technical team and with the different partners there. And I don't know, it really opened my eyes to how much impact that technology could have, in those regions where access to financial services weren't also and aren't still like always easy and to
yeah.
go straight forward. And also, then when I moved to Spain, that it was on 2018, I joined a payment company. And over the years, onto another embedded lending orchestration platform. And I think those experiences took things to the next level. Like I was
Yes.
really amazed to see how the technology could help drive the financial inclusion. I come from the emerging markets, from the Latam, so it could give more. I can see how it could give more people access to those financial services that they couldn't have otherwise.
Yes.
So, of course, over the years, like all these new technologies, blockchain started to emerge, and I knew I wanted to be part of that. Sometimes you're like, it's something that it's booming and you want to be part of, but as in any new field, it's isn't always easy. Like you have to have the experience. But I honestly was very lucky, and at the end, fortunately, my background in payments and fintech really helped me transition into this space. So, and even in the interview, when I was interviewed, I mean, I said to my manager, like, I know obviously what is blockchain and in a high level, but I don't know, and sometimes, I mean, in the interview was like, there were a lot of questions that, and then I was like, okay, yeah, I don't know,
Mm,
I don't know. And they were like, Gabby, it doesn't matter. What is important for us is like that you're a team player, that you have good attitude, that and you have the experience in payments and fintech. So all that other things, it can be learned. They can be learned.
yes.
So yeah. So I think that they gave me the opportunity to be part of the industry. And looking back, I think that every step led me to where I am now, obviously, and I'm really, really happy that they gave me the opportunity and that I'm part of. Yeah.
It's so important, transferable skills and also not overlooking the importance of having quality soft skills, right? A lot of the
Yeah.
things that you're talking about is that, a lot of this stuff, it can be learned, it can be taught. We all have been at one point where we didn't know the difference between, proof of work and proof of stake. And here we are,
Yeah.
understanding and learning about very complex things. And there are an it's incredible amount of resources that are helpful in helping us to be able to learn this. So this brings me to another question, and we'll talk a little bit more about specifically your role. So maybe that people may be interested in pursuing a career path can get some tips there. But when you were mentioning about your experience in LATAM and Europe and the inclusiveness and really allowing people to get exposure to technologies that they typically
Hmm.
weren't. How do you envision blockchain, helping to revolutionize these kind of global
Hmm.
economies, especially in regions like Latam and Europe?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, I mean, blockchain, it's already transforming like the financial infrastructure globally. So, I mean, it's different. It's happening at different levels, from peer-to-peer transactions all the way to more complex use cases with bank and large enterprises. But I think that it's enabling like more the exchange and the creation of new types of assets, making things like faster and honestly way more efficient.
Hmm.
Just to give you an example, we developed a distributed repo platform for the global repo market. So this market faces a lot of challenges, from fragmented workflows, manual processes, limited transparency in how trades were captured, um, and also how they were processed and settled. So all this leads to, as you know, higher costs, big
Yeah.
risk, and make it difficult to meet the regulatory deadline. So what we did was build with Catalyst Blockchain Manager, we built a platform using them, which gives everyone involved like a single unified throughout a unified view. I mean, so it was more like a unified view that throughout the entire trade life cycle makes it easier, you know. So at the end, this helped to reduce transactional risks. Plus, we added custom features to track like all the repo statuses,
Hmm.
and we even apply penalties for the non-compliance. So we were able to ensure like the greater transparency, accountability, and making the market more efficient overall. So I think it's just one example of how blockchain is already making a real difference. And as you mentioned in Latam or in Europe, there are a lot of use cases that can be done and implemented that companies don't know yet, or maybe they even have realized how this technology can help them.
Yes, that's amazing. And what would you say, in your opinion, would be maybe the most common misconception about blockchain's real world potential?
Um, well, I think one of the most common, yeah, misconceptions about blockchain, it's that it's just about cryptocurrency. I mean, and well, crypto, it's definitely a big part of blockchain. Its real world potential goes way, way far beyond that. I mean, it happened to me when I started. For me, blockchain was something like, I don't know, you used to to make it sound like crypto or something sketchy, you know, and I don't know, that was my vision like way back. But blockchain is really about creating trust in data and improving transparency. And also it can transform like supply chain being more efficient. It's about unlocking new opportunities and possibilities in all kinds of areas, from energy to any sector. So yeah, and also I think that's something that it's really important, and recently that I've seen, it's that people don't always realize that blockchain isn't just limited to public open networks, you know,
Yes,
one
yes,
using crypto. There are also private permission and public permission that offers that high level of privacy, which is super important for industries like healthcare, government, that it's really, really important, and obviously finance. And I've seen that also there are also technologies like zero knowledge proof that are also being explored that offer obviously even more privacy. So yeah, at the end of the day, blockchain isn't cryptocurrency, you know, or just the synonym of that. It has a lot of way more potential.
it's so much more than that, but it's
Yeah.
obviously a huge part, right? They kind of go hand in hand. So I wanted to shift a little bit more, Gabby, to uh, maybe helping the people in the audience understand a little bit more kind of about like your title and your role and what are some of the things that you do in your day to day, just so people can understand if they're trying to pursue a career in,
Mhm.
obviously business development. I mean, you're a business development lead and specifically working on this particular product. So tell us just a
Mhm.
little bit more about your day without obviously talking about anything that's confidential.
Yeah, basically it's lead generation, creating all the part of new leads, also the product marketing side, a pure hunter, creating all the assets for the for example, when you're going to events, presentations, all the part of working with the product people for demos. Um, yeah, meetings, a lot of meetings, a lot of market research, a lot of the part of events. I've been lately to three events. On my first event was consensus. It was really interesting, really, really, really cool. And then I went to EBC in Barcelona. That was the European Blockchain Convention, and I went to Madrid as well, to the Merge Madrid, where it was an event of merging both sides of LATAM and Europe. So yeah, a lot of networking, a lot of events, setting. Yeah, it's pure. I think for me, it's pure lead generation, and because I feel that I have a lot of, I like to connect people. So for me, yeah,
And
having that.
how is going to some of these events and networking, how important is that in a role such as yours?
I think it's really important because at the end of the day, um, there are the people in the of the industry, So, for example, a lot of financial services or a lot of partners there are in these events, and at the end, the maybe the only way to get access to them in a easy and convenient way in person, it's being at the events or being a
Mm,
speaker or being, I don't know, workshops. So yeah, I think that it's really really important. Most of the people that I've talked to are in the events, and for example in Madrid and in Barcelona, in Barcelona as well, it was really intense, like back-to-back meetings, and it's something that it's really helpful, because at the end, as I mentioned, there are the people and it's really easy to get to them.
yeah. And, how do you, I would say, kind of get out of your comfort zone and become more vulnerable? I think that this is something that everyone needs to do, especially when they're in a new industry. So, what are some ways that helped you kind of get beyond maybe some fears that you had to do things that are new to you?
Well, just just do it. I mean,
Hmm.
the thing is that, for example, my manager, he was like, "Yeah, Gabby, I," and I like that because it's not like micromanaging or something. He's just like, "Okay, Gabby, you're capable. You're going to do this. You're going to, I don't know. My first event was consensus, and okay, have the meeting with this." And I'm like, but I don't know. And he was like, yeah, it doesn't matter, you just make mistakes, it's fine. And I like that at the end you've been thrown to yeah, you take that leap of faith, so at the end you build the capabilities or the tools along the way, so you have to be there, because if not, sometimes when you think about the things if you should do it or not, you will not do it, so at the end it's just throw yourself there, and
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
No overthinking. I think that it's
Yeah.
important. It's important to put yourself out there, and that's something a lot of people that are looking to get into the space should take to heart for sure. And I wanted to kind of get a little bit more to maybe some of the fun things, right? Help explain to people that may not have had the experience to travel to Europe or to specifically be in Spain and Madrid, Barcelona. What is it like there? And overall, do you feel that people in general are just more accepting of this technology? And do you consider this to be like a new hub when it comes to blockchain and other various innovations?
Honestly, I think that it's growing a lot. Um, I mean, I just joined, but I think that it's growing a lot because I mean, my first time that I went, my first event was consensus, and even though the people that was there, they told me that it was not the typical event of people in Ferraris or that stuff, like
Mm,
it was more like traditional. And even though when I went to the EBC, a lot of the people were from the traditional financial sector, and also as well in Madrid, in Madrid as well. We had a meeting that the other person was like, I liked a lot like these conversations because they're like true that we had the traditional, financial talks, that it's
yeah.
not just the vision that it's like, I don't know, crypto or Ferraris or that type of people, that it wasn't like that, because my perspective was also that.
Mm,
But yeah, it was really good. And also I think that Latam, it's growing a lot. Brazil, Argentina. I mean, right now when I went to the Merge Madrid, most of the Latin people were from Brazil and Argentina.
wow. Okay.
and all of them knew each other, and it was really cool because at the end, um, um, I already had conversations with them, but being physically with them, it's another thing, and obviously it enhances the relationship, and just not only more like friendship, because at the end, I'm from El Salvador, so at the end, just Latin with Latins, it's just this one thing that immediately you end up having dinner together,
Yeah.
so yeah,
It's
that's
it's
cool.
really important to, be work in a very digital kind of industry, and it's sometimes remote first, right? So, it's always great. I recall the first time, going to one of my first major crypto conferences, and it was Consensus as well, and it was just amazing being able to like actually finally meet people that you've been talking to online and having
Yeah,
conversations and even having Zoom meetings, right? Meeting someone face to face and being able to,
yeah, it's
you
it's
know,
really
to be
different.
able to break bread. It's so different, and it really does enhance the relationship overall. And I can definitely, agree with what you're speaking about
Yeah, no,
there.
and also the fact of, for example, I like to connect with people with other people. So at the end, if there's somebody there that I see that could be beneficial for the other person, I mean, in business wise, I mean, or just ideas, like presenting to each other, it's really, I don't know, cool, because at the end, it's like helping each other,
Yes.
so, and it's something that obviously, if you're online, it wouldn't happen. I mean, it would happen, but it's not the same when you have the other person there.
Yeah, and being able to kind of have that face to face interaction, it's quite
Hmm.
quite
Yeah.
priceless. Yeah, and
Hmm.
I wanted to talk about this because you mentioned being able and going to some of these events, and there's a lot of people from quote unquote TradFi, traditional financial institutions. So, how do you envision blockchain continuing to disrupt that traditional financial institutions, and what are some of the roles that Intellect EU could play in this transformation?
Um, I think that honestly, IntellectEU helps a lot in the deep expertise that it has, like in
Mm,
both legacy financial structure and the latest DLT. So as I mentioned you, we've been in the industry for over 17 years. And during that time, we built like really strong, long-standing relationship, not only with banks, industry leaders, um, but also long-standing relationship with banks. And I think that what really set us apart is the ability to bridge the gap between those legacy systems and the new tech. So we've spent years refining our methods across like all the complex projects. So yeah, at the end we help, for example, makes the process easier, like all the iteration cheaper, and also, yeah, I think that at the end we've spent, as I mentioned, like refining the methods, and we know the experience, and we know the how are the highly regulated industries, like for example healthcare or governments. And at the end, these helped us to create solutions that are not only innovative but also compliant and secure, so
yes.
which is key for all these sectors. So I think that, and also what is really important is that we understand the pain points of the financial institutions, because I mean, that's what we used to, those were the insights that we used to deliver that solution. That is, that at the end really solve their needs, whether it's blockchain, digital assets, or other integrations. Yeah.
Yeah. And can you talk a little bit more about how you maybe anticipate the particular Catalyst blockchain manager, that what you're working with, and that
Mhm.
specifically transforming, enterprise blockchain adoption and management as well?
Yeah. So I believe, for example, that Catalyst Blockchain Manager, it's changing how enterprises adopt and manage the blockchain technology. One of the biggest challenges that companies face is just how complicated it is to deploy, maintain, and manage the blockchain structure. So
Mm,
sometimes it often requires like this specialized expertise. which, let's be honest, I mean, it can be a
Hmm.
big barrier to the adoption. So at the end, what Catalyst do, it's really simplify all that. It kind of democratizes blockchain by making it more accessible and straightforward for organizations to use, even they don't have, like the experience in technology itself. So I think that running from production, from POC to production, taking out the burden of the complex infrastructure, like all that part, and lowering the by lowering the cost of participation and streamlining the whole process, our product at the end really helps and let companies focus on what actually matters. That at the end, it's the delivery and the business value. So at the end, instead of getting stuck in all the technical details, um, they can surely, and we help them to concentrate on building and scaling like all the applications that drive their business forward. So yeah, so
That's
I think
huge.
that, and yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's
that.
huge being able to allow the companies to focus on what they need to, so you can take,
Yeah. Hmm.
help alleviate some of that pain. No, that's really great. And
Hmm.
shifting kind of to beyond Intellect EU, what are some kind of blockchain related areas that excite you personally?
Well, I think that, I mean, being from El Salvador and Latin America, I've seen the firsthand how financial exclusion can impact like the communities. And I think one, that's what's really interesting for me in regions like Latam, where access to traditional banking and financial services, it's a little bit of limited. Blockchain has a really a big um, part, there to break those barriers. So
Maybe even talk a little bit about how it's limited, right? Maybe some people have never had the opportunity to go to El Salvador or some of the other countries in the area. So what's kind of your experience
yeah.
from being there to obviously being where you are today?
For example, people that may not have access to credit or savings accounts or basic
Mm.
banking services, like all these things, or for example, international cross-border payments, at the end, blockchain can help to be able to make that process way easier with uh, in cheaper costs. And at the end, it's something that the end user value a lot, and yeah, I think one is that part, and the other part, I think that it's really, for example, another area that it could be, for example, loyalty. I don't know if you have heard, but loyalty, it's I think that it's booming a lot because all the transparency and security that blockchain offers, like in all the loyalty programs, where at the end, I don't know, like rewards are truly owned by the customers. Everything is completely transferable and can be used across all different platforms. So at the end, blockchain help to help brands, to create more meaningful and long-term relationship with their customers. So at the end, I think it's just a way, yeah, blockchain is used to enhance the relationship to the end
Yes,
user.
yes,
Hmm.
so important. And we're kind of wrapping up here. It's already halfway mark, and I tell you, these conversations go fast. They always say time
Yeah.
goes by fast when you're having fun, and this has been a very enjoyable conversation so far. So I'd like for you just to kind of, you've alluded to this a little bit about, your team and the culture there, but maybe help us understand, what's it like working at Intellect EU, and what have been some of your experiences so far, even in the short amount of time that you've been there.
I mean, it's been really, really great. I love it. Since the beginning, all my colleagues were really, really helpful. Yeah, I mean, one of my colleagues literally was helping me in every part of the way, like knowing the product. Because for me, obviously, if I have to sell something, I need to know the product, even though
Mm-hmm.
that if I don't have to know like the technical side. You have to know, some of the things. So because if not, if you go to a client, it's really difficult to be able to sell it, So yeah, I think the people here, it's really good. If you are, I mean, if people it's hearing me. So if they want to join the team, obviously there are positions open. Go to the webpage, reach out to HR, or yeah, send me your profile. Maybe I can share it internally. But yeah, I think that the team is really good. I work remotely. I am in Barcelona. The offices we have, the headquarters are in New York, but we have offices in Portugal, Madrid, Ukraine, Antwerp. Um, yeah, that's it.
All over global organization.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
fantastic.
So yeah, that's really cool. And obviously, if I go, for example, to Portugal, I know that I could go there and visit all the colleagues, that are there. And yeah, but I think that that's really cool because at the end you have that part, and everyone is really open, willing to help. You have, I don't know, like dedicated HR for you. I don't know. It's really, really cool.
And do you
And
like, I mean, do you enjoy, talk maybe a little bit about just being able to work with different people? I mean, you have all these different offices, you're a global organization,
Mhm.
you're able to work remote, just talk a little bit about just maybe being able to interact with so many different people and colleagues that are in different areas and maybe have a different cultural background than you're accustomed to.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously it's different, but at the end, it's being open. If I mean, I'm used to work with, um, in my past experiences. Also, we were like from different countries, and it's really cool because at the end, you get to know the people, their experiences, their families, or because obviously you get to know them more in deep, and at the end just having the personal conversations or in some way which I could help, for example, in any project specific. For example, um, I know Spanish and there's opportunity in Latin America that I can I can help, so I am there as well, so, and I like it because it's something that at the end it opened new opportunities in maybe areas that you may have not thought about it. So yeah, it's really cool. And also, like all the people in the tech part, they're really open, they're really nice, they help you in everything. Yeah. And
That's
also, in the training part, like they like all the product people, it's like, okay, Gabby, if you want to join or this call, or if you want me to explain this, we can go by step. I think it's really cool to have a team that it's really open.
and support. That's so
Yeah,
huge and
yeah,
so important,
yeah.
right? Having that ongoing support from beginning to end. Well, this has been a amazing conversation here. We're going to wrap it up here shortly. Before we do leave, we're going to obviously share where people can continue to follow all of the awesome things that Intellect EU is doing. I highly advise that people go and check out their website, do your home research to see how amazing this organization is.
Yes, come
But
work with us.
yes, and there are some people in the audience right now that may be looking to even volunteer or to contribute in some capacity. It's
Hmm.
super important to take advantage of these type of opportunities and connect, right? So Gabby's put
Yeah.
herself out there and she's said that she's willing to be able to make some introductions. So please do not squander this opportunity. We're going to shift it to the fun part of our podcast here. And the last section that we're going to do is bearish or bullish. So, Gabby, there are a couple of questions, and I wanted just to get your opinion on it, whether you're bearish or bullish, and then maybe you can explain a little bit why you are or are not. So, the first one, Web3 innovation in LATAM and Europe. Are you bearish or bullish?
Bullish. Yeah.
Why so?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things going on there, a lot of potential for the region. And as I mentioned you, there are, like, I think some of the DeFi activities have space to grow.
Mm,
And it's just putting there the technology or the focus on, because it's something that we have a lot of good talent there. So, and we have seen a lot of those being adopted. So yeah, I think yeah, it they have a really good room for growing. So yeah, and I'm pretty proud of that, you know. So
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes, for sure. Definitely bullish, as am I. The next one, bearish or bullish on the modernization of financial services?
bullish, yeah, for sure, yeah.
Why? Why?
Yeah, because at the end, it's something that at the end it's really helping all the regions, not only, for example, emerging markets, especially that are companies that are growing in that direction. For example, like the traditional financial sector. As I said, the DTCC and Everclear is like they are growing to that space, and and you can see that a lot of the traditional financial companies are going to that side, and they are seeing the value of it, you know. So yeah, I think that it's really important that at the end it it helps to reduce the cost, to make it easier, to make it more user friendly.
Hmm.
So yeah. Mhm.
Yep, absolutely. And the last one is going to be bearish or bullish for enterprise adoption of blockchain technology.
Super bullish. I mean, that's my my logo wherever I go, you know. So obviously you can go to IntellectEU and check out our page, and you would see the response.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, Gabby, this has been an incredible conversation. I thank you so much for taking the time to come on here. I know that in your part of the world, it's later in the afternoon. You've already had a full day of work, and
No, don't worry. For
your
me,
week
it's
your week is going
and
along
I'm
here.
happy to do it. So
Yes, yes, this has been fantastic. So, if there's anyone in the audience, if people want to connect with you, Gabby, or get in touch with you, what's the best way to do so?
yeah, through LinkedIn they can connect with me, Gabriela Orellana. So yeah, I'm happy to also, if as you mentioned, to make an introduction. If you want to join our company, I'm happy to do so. So yeah. Mhm.
Very fantastic. And the best way for people to stay up to date with what's going on with Intellect EU?
Yeah, we have our webpage, and you can go also to our newsletter. You can subscribe there, and also our product itself. It's Catalyst Blockchain Manager. We have a page dedicated for that. So catalyst.com. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been
Mhm.
fantastic. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you coming on today. And I would like to extend my gratitude to everyone that has joined today. I'm just going to give some quick shout outs to the folks that are still here: Juan, Andrea, Rakarish, Antonio, Anthony, Marshall, Ho, Olga, Kevin, Roman, Lourdes, Kinu, Andres, Katie, Douglas, Deepak, Neo, Victoria, Zachary. Thank you all for joining, and sorry if I butchered anyone's name there. I am nowhere as near as good as my colleague Emily, who does roll calls. But once again, folks, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay tuned for some short clips of our conversation today that I'll be posting on LinkedIn soon with a recap of some of the highlights of our conversation. And we will also be getting this full recording up on our YouTube channel shortly. And that'll be a great opportunity for you to go back and give it a listen. And please, please, please take the time after this, folks, to go and follow Gabby. Check out what Intellect EU is doing. Show your support. And if anything, take what we've been saying today and make some actionable items and start to really push this industry forward in the right way that we are all going. So thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Be safe, y'all.
Thanks. Bye.